We're out of money, Bart. This government shutdown is killing us.
Yes, Daddy.
The Simpsons predicted chilling news for the USA after the government shutdown, and now those eerie warnings feel painfully real. What once looked like harmless comedy has turned into a mirror of America's darkest headlines, with chaos spreading long after the lights went out in Washington. The laughter stopped the moment the prophecy started unfolding.
Prediction is emerging, and it's one The Simpsons may have warned us about over 15 years ago.
It's October 2025. Washington is frozen, paychecks are gone, offices shut, and for the first time in modern history, the world's most powerful government simply stops. 900,000 federal workers are sent home. 2 million more are told to keep working, but without pay. Air traffic controllers, scientists, soldiers, all left hanging while politicians argue on live TV. And somewhere in the middle of this chaos, the internet digs up a 25-year-old Simpsons episode that seems to have predicted all of it.
The resemblance between the two moments is terrifying, almost frame for frame. In a world of cartoons, this one feels just a little too real.
In Bart to the Future, Lisa Simpson becomes president after President Trump leaves the country broke. It aired in March 2000, back when Trump was just a real estate tycoon with a cameo habit. The episode joked about a nation drowning in debt, borrowing from every country in the world, and a government scrambling to fix the damage. At the time, it was satire. Today, it reads like a transcript of the 2025 shutdown. The same panic, the same budget crisis, the same collapse of leadership. What was once a cartoon gag now feels like a headline from this week's news.
Some believe it was deliberately hidden, erased from public memory.
When the real shutdown hit on October 1st, government websites went offline. Families relying on food aid suddenly couldn't get it. Research labs locked their doors mid-experiment. The CDC suspended programs. Even the National Institutes of Health had to freeze clinical trials. Ordinary Americans found out just how fragile their systems really are. And as the lights dimmed in DC, old clips from The Simpsons started trending. People calling it the prophecy fulfilled.
So wispy. It's a gravity-defying comb-over. I can't believe that this was once on his ass. It's as blonde as a golden marmoset, yet also gray as a long-dead donkey.
It's easy to laugh off predictions, but this one is too specific to ignore. The Simpsons didn't just hint at chaos, it drew the entire blueprint. In Trash of the Titans, Homer becomes head of Springfield's sanitation department, overspends billions, and buries the city in garbage. Everyone cheers him on until the trash literally swallows the town. It's funny, until you remember that America's current debt just passed $35 trillion and the government shut down because no one could agree on how to clean up the mess.
Suddenly, he clutches his chest and collapses during a live national broadcast.
This wasn't just stress.
Every storyline about incompetence, greed, and denial in Springfield feels like a distorted reflection of Washington. The leaders in the show pretend everything's fine while the city burns. The leaders in real life do the same, calling press conferences while people wait for paychecks that never come. The show exaggerated for laughs. Reality didn't have to.
In a long-forgotten episode, a controversial president with golden hair is shown wandering the White House alone.
And then there's the Trump connection. That single line, "We inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump," might be one of the most chilling sentences in cartoon history. Back then, nobody thought he'd even run for office. 15 years later, he's in the White House. 25 years later, the country's facing its worst shutdown ever, described by economists as a fiscal crisis left unresolved since the Trump era. The Simpsons didn't just predict his presidency, it predicted the financial storm he'd leave behind.
This was a sign. Now in 2025, the rumor mill in Washington is spinning out of control.
Sources claim the current president has been quietly suffering from chest pain.
Even the details line up. The episode shows Washington borrowing from every country in the world. And in 2025, that's exactly what happened. Reports show US debt to foreign nations climbing faster than ever, with record borrowing from China and Japan. The show's future was never meant to come true. Yet here we are, living inside it.
People, your taxes are high because of illegal immigrants. That's right. Illegal immigrants. We need to get rid of them.
Immigrants. I knew it was them.
Even when it was the Bears, I knew it was them.
Meanwhile, the same blame games from Springfield play out in real life. In the episode Much Apu About Nothing, the town faces a funding crisis and suddenly blames immigrants for it. Sound familiar? During the 2025 shutdown, politicians spent more time pointing fingers than solving problems, accusing rivals, foreigners, anyone but themselves. The Simpsons line, "It's always easier to blame the stranger," hits harder now than it ever did. What used to be satire is now strategy, but the scariest part isn't just the politics or the debt, it's what replaced the humans. When the shutdown dragged on, government agencies quietly turned to automation to keep basic operations alive. AI systems processed data, updated records, even handled some internal communications. While millions of people were locked out of their jobs, algorithms kept the government running, just like Lisa's wedding warned nearly 30 years ago.
Over the years, The Simpsons have made countless accurate predictions. Are we finally listening? August is approaching, and the warnings are growing louder.
That's the brutal irony. When the people stopped, the machines didn't. The shutdown didn't shut everything down. It just proved that some parts of the system no longer need people to keep moving. So yes, The Simpsons predicted a lot over the decades. Smartwatches, video calls, even the discovery of the Higgs boson. But this one, the 2025 government shutdown, hits different. Because this time, it's not a coincidence or a funny meme. It's a mirror. The jokes about lazy leaders, blind voters, and unstoppable machines all came true in one long, painful episode we're living through right now.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
I refuse to be scared unless there's some terrifying new term for it.
It's an Arctic blast with a bomb cyclone and a chance of firenado. Or as we in the news business call it, an Arctic-onado.
And maybe that's the scariest part. The show didn't warn us about aliens or asteroids. It warned us about ourselves. The greed, the denial, the refusal to listen until it's too late. Springfield was never fiction. It was just America drawn in yellow, waiting for the punchline that finally landed.
We warned you.
Corruption, collapse, and chaos. Sounds like another Washington headline, right? But The Simpsons nailed that storyline years before it even happened. In 2014, they aired You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee. Homer becomes a FIFA referee and suddenly everyone's trying to bribe him. It's soccer meets scandal. And, well, eerily familiar. 1 year later, real FIFA officials were arrested for massive corruption. Fast forward to 2025, and we're seeing the same script, only this time, it's not about football, it's about federal contracts.
None of us call it that, Kent.
Pipe down, Arnie, I'm selling hoodies.
Storms are coming. Light switch! Huh? Why do people keep doing that?
It's funny in a sick kind of way, how Springfield's cartoon scandals became Washington's breaking news. The FIFA episode was supposed to mock sports politics, not predict the downfall of real institutions. But here we are, with America replaying Homer's script on corruption scandals, budget chaos, and a government that's basically eating itself alive. History didn't repeat, it reran a Simpsons episode on a loop we can't turn off.
I know Weinstein's parents were upset, Superintendent, but I was sure it was a phony excuse. I mean, it sounds so made up. Yom Kippur.
And while the politicians argued over missing funds, another crisis quietly started, one that hit closer to home. Food. Lisa the Vegetarian was supposed to be a sweet little episode about compassion and burgers, but underneath the humor was a brutal warning. What happens when the system that feeds people breaks? In 2025, that's no longer a what if. When the shutdown hit, food assistance programs froze. Grocery prices spiked overnight. Families relying on WIC and school meals were suddenly left hanging. Springfield always mirrored reality, but sometimes it feels like reality copied Springfield too closely. While DC was falling apart, people began taking to the streets. Frustration, protests, riots, it all boiled over. And again, The Simpsons had already been there. In Itchy and Scratchy Land, the cute cartoon robots go rogue and attack humans. In Homer Goes to College, a prank spirals into total campus chaos. Both episodes showed one core idea. When systems fail, everything turns on itself. Now look at 2025. Automated systems glitching out during the shutdown, government data temporarily lost, and angry citizens flooding the streets demanding action. Even AI systems, the ones that were supposed to keep things stable, started making critical errors because no one was around to oversee them. The same mechanical rebellion the Simpsons joked about became a weird kind of metaphor for what's happening right now. Society didn't get taken down by aliens or enemies, just its own incompetence.
I do not deserve this! I've come here legally as an exchange student!
Young man, the only thing we exchanged for you is our national dignity.
Could this be the moment humanity quietly handed control to the machines? Maybe. And if so, The Simpsons didn't just predict a shutdown, they predicted a handover. From Trump's economic chaos to Springfield's bankruptcy to Washington's digital takeover, the prophecy is complete. They showed what happens when greed runs the government, when technology replaces people, and when no one's left to take responsibility. Now, 25 years later, the fictional town of Springfield looks a lot like America itself. Broke, divided, and run by machines. And maybe that's the true horror of it all, that the end of democracy didn't come with an explosion or a villain. It came with laughter followed by silence. The same empty town hall that once stood in Springfield now stands in Washington too. Quiet, hollow, and way too real.